Michael McDowell just announced some of his future plans that are absolutely shaking up silly season. Let's break it all down because there is a lot to talk about. Hey everyone, welcome back to Above the Yellow Line, where we do motorsports media your way, talking about NASCAR literally all the time. And today we're talking about Michael McDowell and how his future plans are stirring up the silly season pot. There is a lot of speculation happening now after this news as to where the dominoes are going to fall next. But of course, earlier this morning, Michael McDowell had a bittersweet announcement that he is leaving Front Row Motorsports following the end of the 2024 season. In my opinion, it's not controversial to say that Michael McDowell really did build this team. Before he joined, this team was really dancing around the top 20 in terms of average finishing positions. They had 2 wins prior to Michael McDowell with 2 different drivers, of course, Chris Buescher and David Reagan. But once Michael joined this team, they've been pretty consistently in the top 15, the top 10, and of course, competing for race wins. And Michael McDowell, of the 4 wins that Front Row Motorsports has 2 of them. Of course, the Daytona 500 in 2021, his first career win in the Cup Series, and then last year at the Indy Road Course where he dominated over half the race. As of right now, Front Row Motorsports has not announced their plans for 2025 as to who is taking over the number 34. I'm sure you have your theories, and I definitely have mine, and we're going to talk about those towards the end of the video, but we have to talk about where Michael McDowell is going for 2025, as that's the second half of this whole story. So this morning, McDowell announces that he's leaving Front Row Motorsports. This afternoon, he announced that he is going to be racing for Spire in a multi-year agreement starting in 2025. Surprisingly, according to Toby Christie, this is his first multi-year agreement of his career at 39 years old. That is insane. Of course, right now, Spire has Corey LaJoie in the 7. In the 77, we have Carson Hocevar. And in the 71, we have Zane Smith. Where is Michael McDowell going to fit into this equation while he's taking over the 71 for Zane Smith? As for Zane Smith, we kind of knew this was coming. We knew this was a 1-year agreement with Spire, considering that he is a loan of Trackhouse Racing. Trackhouse Racing holds his driver contract. However, with all of that said, we don't know where Zane Smith is going to end up in 2025. And right now, Zane Smith is not having the rookie season I think we all expected. He is dead last in points. It is a constant battle week in, week out, but the president of Spire Motorsports did say, quote, "Our 2024 plan for the number 71 team remains unchanged." He also shared that Spire fully supports Zane Smith and his crew chief, and quote, "We remain committed to the success of our collaboration with Trackhouse. That team is just beginning to realize its potential. We're looking forward to seeing how the Rookie of the Year battle plays out between Zane and Carson." So now the fun part begins. We can start to analyze where Zane Smith might end up in 2025, and I have 3 theories for you based off of information that we have, some speculation that's out there, ranging from most likely to least likely. So I'm going to start off with the most likely option. So number 1, according to Bob Pockrass, Stewart-Haas Racing is looking to sell a charter or charters, and apparently they gave information to a potential buyer on what it would take to buy one of their charters. My theory is that Trackhouse Racing is the one requesting information to buy one of Stewart-Haas Racing's charters. They're looking to secure Zane Smith at their shop in 2025. When Zane Smith signed on as a Trackhouse driver, that was the original intent, that Trackhouse would get another charter and bring Zane Smith over to their shop. And that to me seems the most likely possibility right now, just based off of how this all transpired. The second option that I think is also likely if Trackhouse is not able to secure a charter is that maybe Zane Smith goes to Colleague in the number 16 full-time in 2025. We already know that Colleague and Trackhouse have a relationship built based off of SVG racing in their Xfinity Series equipment. So it doesn't seem unlikely that Trackhouse kind of loans Zane Smith out to Colleague for their Cup Series program. I don't think that's impossible. Finally, the least likely option I see happening is that Zane Smith returns to Front Row Motorsports, but in their Cup Series program. Obviously, we don't know who's filling that 34 seat, and I have a few more ideas as to who that could be, and I'll share that in a second. But of course, Zane Smith was very successful with that organization in the Truck Series, winning a championship for them, multiple wins. It would be kind of cool to see him return to that team, but in Cup. That was kind of my original thought when I heard that Zane Smith was going to go to the Cup Series. It made sense that he would maybe run an open car or maybe replace Todd Gilliland. I didn't really know at the time. However, there is a catch to this. I don't think it makes sense for him to be a Trackhouse driver and race for Ford. That's where I see this theory totally falling apart, but I definitely could be wrong. Now the question is, who goes to the 34? So of course, Zane Smith could be a potential option, though again, I don't see that as being likely. But going back to the idea of SHR selling their charters, that means that some of their drivers, one or more, could be out of a seat for 2025 and beyond. And of course, because Front Row Motorsports is a Ford team, potentially that means that a Stewart-Haas Racing driver now could become a Front Row Motorsports driver in 2025. So that to me makes the absolute most sense as to who could fill in that 34 seat. But again, we've been bamboozled by silly season news before where we think one thing's going to happen and then the complete opposite does. But at least that's a theory. I've laid all my theories out on the table. Let me know what you think about them. Besides this other silly season news that has dropped is that Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is continuing to race for JTG Doherty, signing a multi-year agreement with that team, continuing their success over there. I think they really gel together really well. It was a small silly season news break last week, but again, it counts as one of the dominoes as to where these drivers who are now free agents could go in 2025. That's a lot of information to unpack there, but what do you think of all of it? Let me know, of course. Yet again, we're going to keep you up to date at TobyChristieCom, and to learn more about us and what we do at Above the Yellow Line, go to AboveTheYellowLine.com. Thanks everyone so much for watching this video, and until next time, I'll see ya. Bye.